We were all born with the innate power of knowing and wisdom within us. The challenge for many of us is that we were taught to seek answers externally instead of searching from within. And this is the reason why so many of us find ourselves going around in circles, searching for new ways, but could never find the way. The womanly way. It's not the way. It's not my way. But it is a pathway to support all of us returning back to self, reconnect with our inner wisdom through loving ourselves, knowing ourselves, and reconnecting with ourselves.
Tell me and be honest. Tell me, should I've known?
So we can start to find our own way as modern day women. Are you interested? Well, sit back, relax, and welcome to this amazing journey.
And I'm gonna say hello Facebook, hello LinkedIn, and hello YouTube. It's been a hot minute. Haven't been on these platforms for, I'm gonna say like all at once for a little while now. I'm also super excited because today I just found out StreamYard can now go live on LinkedIn. So I'm excited to go to LinkedIn and see what this looks like. So for those of you who I have never met, or you have never met me, or we have only just met on the socials, my name is Angela Lala Wang. Angela's my real name. Lala's been my nickname since I was 15. And Wang is obviously my last name. So all my friends call me Lala. And really for me, outside of my work life, Lala is how I go by. Ange is what a lot of people that are close to me call me, and that's how I call myself. Angela generally is when I am in trouble. So that's just a bit of an intro to start with. As you could see on the title today, this is really about a bit of realization in what has been happened in the past 2 years, but also I'm relaunching my podcast. So this is really going to be episode 1 of my podcast. And because it's episode 1 of the relaunch, I just thought, this is a platform that's right timing. It's the right way, right medium, to really talk about what really happened. Because I went back and looked at my podcast. I did write this down. It was in April 2021, almost 2 years ago. And to a lot of people in the podcast world, and maybe even on YouTube, it was almost like the podcast was starting to build success, and almost sudden, poof, the show just disappeared, right? And for the past 2 years, I've been wanting to come back to this. So now is the time. Now is the time, and I really want to come back in a different energy. And so here we are. Because this is going to be episode 1 of the new podcast, I am going to, start here, and we're just going to say hello and then really set out the formation of this episode. So here we are. Welcome to the relaunch and first episode of The Womanly Way. The Womanly Way, the podcast. This podcast, for those of you who has never followed me before, used to called Range Woman, the variety show. And it started in 2020. I think it was in either October or November. It was one of those things that I was so passionate about, and I just love because I got to connect with other women and interview them and talk about all the things. And I looked back and was like, I wonder when was the last episode? The last episode was done in April 2021. And for those people who are in the podcasting world who has been following my podcast, I think it was almost like it would just, it started strong. We went into a second phase, and then all of a sudden the podcast just went poof, disappeared. And that kind of is what happened. But at the same time, I've been reflecting upon the past 2 years. I've been wanting to come back to this podcast, but it just didn't feel aligned. And so this year, there's been a call. There's been a call to come back. But at the same time, I've been reflecting on why this has happened. Why did I just went out of steam and literally went poof out of nowhere? So I thought to start as part of our relaunch in this first episode, it really is a good platform for me to talk about what happened in the past 2 years. What are some of the lessons learned? What are some of the realizations? And there's been a lot of upgrade for me as well. What were some of the upgrades that's been happening, right? So we set this foundation, we set the starting point, set the scene for the upcoming and this reinvention of the podcast, and also talking about, why did I decide the name change? What are we seeing? What is going to happen in this podcast? And, I think my intention for this podcast is still quite similar to when I did Range Woman. It's really, I want this to be casual. I want it to feel like I am in your living room. We're having a conversation, just some girls having conversations. So it's just really informal, really casual, but we're going to talk about some interesting stuff in here. So for those of you who has never listened to my podcast, who has never perhaps seen me on social, who's really coming across me for the first time, hello and welcome. My name is Angela Wang. I am your host for The Womanly Way. All my friends call me Lala. I had this nickname since I was 15, and we really started on a platform called ICQ back in those days. When I first got onto the internet, I had to find a name for ICQ. Teletubby was really famous back then. So, and everybody loved Poe, because Poe was like the little youngest one out of the 4 Teletubbies. And I was like, no, I love Lala. Lala's yellow. It just gives me that sunshine vibe, and she just seems happy. So I picked Lala. Little did I know, Angela, la 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 la, and I used to sing operatically. So everything kind of just fell into place, and it's become a really fitting nickname for me. I've used it throughout my high school. I've used it through my university years. And really, when it comes to building my personal brand, I decided to keep Lala as part of my name, because not that I had created this identity, but it has become a part of me. It also describes part of my personality really well. So for me now, all my friends call me Lala. My colleagues call me Ange. Here in Australia, we love to shorten people's name. And then when people call me Angela, quite often I think I'm in trouble. So that's just a little bit of me to start with. I am a mum to baby George. I've been working in the construction industry here in Australia for, since 2007. So what's that? It's 2023 now. You do the math. So 15, 16 years now. Is that right? Something like that, or even a bit longer. I'm turning 40 on the Google. What do you call that? I call it the normal calendar, Gregorian calendar, on the 23rd of March. But in the Chinese calendar, I'm actually 40 already. In fact, for some strange reason, Chinese people like to make ourselves older. So I'm actually, if I am, say, in a Chinese country, or in China, or in Taiwan, which is where I'm from, I'm actually considered as 41. I don't know why we like to make ourselves older. So why am I telling you about my age? Why am I telling you about my birthday? Because it is actually really important. It's really linked back to this podcast and what has been happening for the last 2 years, or how I have come to consider what has really happened in the past 2 years. So I've been working in construction for the past, let's say 15, 16, 17, 18 years, however long everything adds up to be. It is almost midnight here in Australia, so my maths isn't exactly great. Love it. Love it. I am specializing in building aged care and retirement living facilities. And for me, this is really my sweet spot because in a way, it's my contribution back to a industry, but also back to the community. On the side, I have been an entrepreneur for the past almost 10 years now. I've had different kind of business ranging from catering business to running events, and to now really landing in helping women stepping into our leadership roles so we can not only fulfill our dreams and desires, but also give back to community and stepping into our greater purpose. So absolutely, absolutely love it. Hello to everybody on Instagram. Thank you for jumping on and saying hello. So why do I love podcasting? I think for me, the past 2 years I've been sitting there going, there's a lot of conversations that are happening at home with me and my partner, Scott. We often talk about things and they'll be like, wait, that makes a great podcasting episode. But at the same time, I love connect with people. I love sharing things that are happening. I love sharing my aha moment. And I'm also a channel and a lot of times things come through that will allow me to share those channels. And it is my job to share those channels, right? For the past 2 years, really, I would say it's been an initiation. It's been an initiation, and that break from the podcast is almost needed. I feel like, the growth and the expansion that happened in the past 2 years has been undescribable. And that past version of me running Range Women as a supporting role, because quite often I'm interviewing people and I feel like I'm just an observer, doesn't suit me anymore because it was comfortable. It was comfortable shining light on others, allowing them to shine, because I wasn't comfortable shining my own light. Right? I've got a business called The Womanly Way. This is channeled through me. It's a system that's channeled through me in order for me to help others shine their light. But in order to help others shine their light, I need to shine my light first. So let's talk about really what happened in the past 2 years and how do I come to this realization that this new version of me needed to really step up, right? I really needed to kick my own butt and step up. And stepping into this highest expression of me instead of being the supporting role. So April 2021 was the last episode that I did. And then what happened after that, I would say now in hindsight, it's like my body knew, my higher self knew, the universe knew what was happening. The only person that didn't know what was happening was me, right? Because we then went into our second lockdown. I then fell pregnant with George. And then the rest is history. No, it wasn't quite like that. But the subsequent events happened after my last episode in April. Didn't make sense at first. They now make so much sense in hindsight. And that's how hindsight is beautiful. Work got super busy. And literally, when I say busy, I meant I have not been so busy in the past 10 years. Right? I was working overtime a lot in May June, and then we went into lockdown. Back then, I was just like, why do I keep manifesting busyness in work and stopping working on my business? Then I felt pregnant. Then it was almost as if the universe has created this cocoon for me. And the interesting thing was as soon as I found out I was pregnant, my clientele started to drop off. To the point, before I was about to give birth to George, I had no clients. And this has been one thing that I have feared in telling the world, in sharing, because I was like, that meant that I failed as a business person. That meant I failed as an entrepreneur. That meant I failed as the owner of the Womanly Way. But come to now look at it in hindsight, what I've realized was that was the universe's way of telling me, hey, you've got a project that's more important than anything else in the world right now. So we're going to create this cocoon for you, this safe space, this almost, it felt like a black hole at the time. Like I was just sitting there, nothing was happening. It doesn't matter what I chuck on the walls. It wasn't landing, it wasn't happening. Right? But I was also at the same time having the best time being a mom, having the best time being pregnant. And I think without all that happening for me, I wouldn't be as calm, as peaceful, as at ease with everything, right? When George was born, I was like, okay, right, time to get back to business. It wasn't happening. I was faced with obstacles and challenges. Every time I tried to jump back into business, something would happen. We've moved house. I had to do a lot of things on my own because Scott had lost his license for 6 months. That could be another discussion and another story. So we had to somehow move house, did all the things. I sold a house, a property, investment property as well. It was like there's all the changes that are happening. Mind you, I was also having a 5-year, a personal year, a 5-year in numerology, which meant change, right? And all that was happening, me being so stubborn and determined, I was like, no, my business had to continue. So I kept going. But I knew that there's a part of me that was no longer the same. And I did what I knew back then is to jump on, go back and find the mentors that I knew it was going to help me. And that was really to step into this new identity. And I thought I had to change my identity completely. And what I have found out through my process of reconnecting with myself, this identity shift from being who I was to now being a mom to George as well, it didn't need it to be a complete 180. In fact, it was really just a 5-degree shift, right? I've just added something into my life. I am still me. I am still me. But what had happened was there's this, I would call it an upgrade. I felt like I've been initiated into womanhood, right? The Womanly Way was downloaded to me in 2020, and I really felt like in 2022, I got to embody it fully. And it was like your initiation process has complete. I now fully step into my identity as a woman. as a mum, as a woman. Before that, I kind of feel like I was still a maiden, experiencing the world. But I not only step into the role of a woman, and quite often in the womanly way, we talk about the 5 archetypes, right? I felt like I have literally stepped into the witch and the crone all at the same time. It's like this upgrade that has happened in all areas and all levels and all aspects of my life. It was like you're shedding skin, you're upgrading, all the things has happened. So then this cocoon that I was explaining about, this black hole that I felt like I have landed into at the end, in the middle of 2021, it was actually a cocoon. Like the caterpillar had to go into a cocoon and become a butterfly. And I feel like I'm finally coming out of this, stepping into my 40s. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to not only talk about my story, but teach the things and mentor the women who want to stepping into their own way. Now I'm ready. And for me, it's really like I've graduated from maidenship through this process and really, truly stepping into the womanly way. Which lends me to, this whole celebration and reflection of before my 40th birthday. There's so much lessons learned, right? But there's also so much clarity now. I just spent the last month really looking at what is my purpose now? What is my purpose now? Who is Lala Wang? And what am I really here to create? And for me, it's something that's so much bigger than me, and it makes so much sense that why I'm still in construction till today and why I know I'll be in construction till the last day of my life, and how construction can link back to, personal development, mentoring, and leadership. To me, I know that my greatest purpose in this lifetime is to create what I called a new age community with old-fashioned values and family values, or family units. It's a strange way of describing it, but I am seeing, like, I've got a vision of what a future community would be like, stepping into the age of careers. But there's a lot of old school values and traditions that I believe we need to return to in order to create these new, amazing, next level, high vibrational communities. But in order to do that, what I have been guided to see is that we need to reawaken and reconnect humanity to more of our feminine energy. This is not just women, this is men as well, because we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. And then if we go one step further, in order to reawaken the divine feminine in all of us, we first need to reconnect females, women, female leaders on a planet to our divine feminine, because then when we are connected to our divine feminine, we then empower the masculine to also connect with their divine feminine. We then inspire more men to connect to their divine feminine as well. And that's how we create harmony. By the way, I don't use the word balance because I don't believe everything's 50-50. Even in the balancing of masculine and feminine energy, it's never 50-50, right? So I prefer to call harmony. So we're harmonizing our divine masculine and feminine and creating divine unions with us. Then we're able to create divine union with our life partner, with our family, and then creating this community full of divineness, basically. So what does this all mean? What does this all mean to what I'm really passionate about right now? Right here, right now, I really truly believe my role is to get us all back to the fundamentals, to the basics, right? To finding our harmony within us by reconnecting with ourselves, by loving ourselves more, and by understanding and knowing ourselves more. I really, truly, truly believe there's not enough people who really, truly understand what self-love means, what it takes. And there's not enough people to really, truly know who they are, what they're meant to do on this planet. And there's not enough people that are truly, truly connected to their selves, their higher selves, their vision, their purpose, and their guides spiritually. And through motherhood, through motherhood, I think really for me now, the shift is no longer, I have really narrowed down and really doubled down on my niche. And I'm not afraid to do it, right? It's really helping. I'm really, really deeply, firmly believe it's to help women, but not just any woman. Working women, working mums, mums to be, mums wannabe, to stepping into our highest vibration, our highest version of ourselves, so we can all create the life that we desire and the dreams that we desire and the things that we really want to create. Because this is how we step into leadership. This is how we lead ourselves, our family, our community to this next level, to this new age, to the new communities that I desire to create, and I believe that so many of us desire to create. But also, I think through experiencing motherhood, I'm seeing so much, I would say, struggle. And just like, there's so many things that I wanted to speak about motherhood that needed to be spoken about, right? I think, and I say our society, but it's probably just human in general. There's such a beautiful picture that's been painted about motherhood, but there are so many shortfalls and challenges that doesn't get talked about that I'm seeing mums experiencing. I'm just like, why don't people talk about these things? Why don't people talk about these things? So what you will find is, with the womanly way, it's all things about being motherhood, womanhood, leadership driven, relationship driven. You're going to see Scott coming on to some of the interviews or podcast episodes where we just talk about the things that we see and, the dynamics, our relationship and how we make it work, but also where the challenges are. I really want this podcast to be real. I really want it to be something, like I said, it's just like us sitting in our lounge rooms sharing things. I want this to be relatable, but at the same time, adding value to your life. And as you could see, I do rant, right? I do go on a tangent and talk about things, and there are things that I'm passionate about. But I think this little riff, this reintroduction of me, who I am, has really allowed you to see the different aspects of what the womanly way is really about. There's some woo-woo-ness in it. There might be a lot of woo-woo-ness in it. There's a lot about spirituality. There's a lot about our emotional intelligence. I will be also talking about the practical stuff. And there might just be a lot of observations that I have observed through work, through being a mom, through all the things, right? But there will also be interviews of other women. What I really want to do, and quite often I get asked, not just in my industry, people ask in general, like, what does this role, what does this job actually entail. And I find so much interest in, I'm just really interested in what people actually do in their jobs, you know. Like my title is a design manager in aged care and retirement living. But if you're not in construction, you probably be like, well, what is it? What do you actually do? Right. So you will find there will be interviews of people, everyday people, just, you know, everyday people that do their job, talk about what they do. But I also want to interview everyday people that has got interesting jobs, or they are maybe a bit like me that's got multiple jobs or changing industry. It's just, I want this show to be all about the celebration of being a female, womanhood, all the things we do, about career, right? About career, working mums, mums to be, mums wanna be. I will also be talking about, I guess, my own journey to motherhood, and also some of the spiritual aspects, which I'm actually super excited about talking about these, how I believe babies come about, but also how us as mothers can be better prepared in order to receive our babies. All these exciting things I want to talk about, and also all the woo-woo things that I want to talk about, that are actually, does it make sense? All the woo-woo things that are actually very practical in helping you progress in life, in your career, in your motherhood, in your pursuit to your highest expression. And last thing but not least, I really want to celebrate, I guess it's like, I feel like the relaunching of this podcast, is like the maturing of me as a personal brand. I feel so grown up, and I feel more organized. I feel, I don't know, it really feels different. It feels like Range Woman was, like I said at the beginning, is the supporting role. And the womanly way is me really stepping up and owning the stage and going, no, I'm taking the lead this time. I feel grown up, right? And I think part of it is because I now belong to a media company that is going to support me, that's going to support this platform, and that's going to make sure and hold me accountable and make sure that you guys get the best quality content from me. So I'm super excited. If anything, I know I'm always my toughest critic, but I'm at my best when I know I have someone else holding me accountable. And this is the truth about human brain, right? And human being and human behavior. This is what I truly believe. We are all born clever enough to take shortcuts. The human brain is wired to always take the path of least resistance. So it's not that I am lazy. Yes, I am. I can be. And it's not that I have to have someone holding me accountable. But it's that when I know that I have got someone there helping me, keeping me accountable, then I feel responsible. And then I would then perform a lot better than when I am just myself and holding myself accountable. And this is proven, right? And this is why, especially for female, it is so, so, so important whenever we set a goal. We look at, it's not only how it benefits us, but how it benefits our family, our loved ones, and the community. The bigger impact that you can make it, the bigger that you can, or the more people that you can benefit, and more people that you feel responsible for, the more likely you are to achieve those goals. Because as females, we're community driven, right? Our brain is wired to contribute. And that's why I really truly believe we make the best leaders. It's not that we don't have leadership qualities in us, and that's what I truly believe. Everybody can be a leader. We just need to find our way. It's like the womanly way. It's not the way, it's your way. And it's really about discovering your light, your way, your potential, your qualities, and then being able to own it. And I really, really feel like been a part of Media 444 with Leah and her team and changing the name and owning the name The Womanly Way, it's like me now finally going, okay, I'm going to put the big girl's pants on or skirt or whatever you want to do, or maybe a dress, and step up and own the stage and be okay to say my truth, shine my light, tell you what I really think. So I'm super excited. I hope you are too. Welcome. And I can't wait to share all the things that we have planned for you this year and beyond. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. And I will see you or hear you. No, I will. Or you will hear me. But I look forward to connect with you in our next episode. Love you all. Thank you. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Womanly Way. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast if you feel aligned to do so. Or check out our post-show discussions on my Instagram page @The Womanly Way. See you next time.